What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to talk about 5 tips and drills for smaller wide receivers. Let's get started. All right, guys, so the first tip we're going to talk about is understanding range off the line of scrimmage, okay? So when we're a smaller receiver, right, we're going to get DBs that are bigger than us. They're going to try to be more physical than us, but we got to understand the power of what range is. So range, a disciplined DB isn't going to come right up on the line and try to just jam you straight off the line. It's going to give you about... You're gonna have some space to work with, right? Okay, now this is a situation where he's not necessarily gonna try to just jam you and press you off the line. He's gonna be in this almost catch technique, maybe a yard or 2 off, right? And he's waiting for you to address him, and that's when he's gonna get hands on you, right? So we're gonna be talking about this slide release. So slide release, you guys have all seen where you slide him, and then you give him a move, then you come back inside or you come back outside, okay? So what we're gonna talk about with the slide release is how to understand range, because if we slide enough, right? This is like where I'm lined up. If I slide here, I'm out of his range, right? I want to make sure I don't slide to the point where he could get a pop on me. He could be here and he could give me a jab and knock me off my platform, right? DB standing, we could say about here. I want to slide over here to where I'm out of his range, okay? So when I slide, then I'm going to give him, if I want to take like an inside release, like I'm running a slant, I will give him a 1-2, left, right, come back inside. So when I slide, what the DB's going to do, he's either got 2 choices to make. He's either going to slide with us, and then we just give him a crossover, and hopefully I have good feet, good head and shoulder movement to get him off platform, or we're gonna slide and he's gonna address us. And if he addresses us, the only thing we can do, he slides, he tries to pop hands on us, we just swat, rip underneath, and come back inside, okay? Now, I don't like this slide release on anything but maybe a slant or a fade, because if we're working this slide release and we gotta run a dig, maybe 12 yards downfield, it's gonna take too much time, okay? So we gotta work on this slide, understanding range with the DB, and giving him a sudden 1-2, okay? So this is how it's gonna look. So we're gonna be here. It's gonna be slide, 1-2. And then you're gonna come back inside. I need that 1-2 to be real sudden. I need my head and shoulders to be violent. And then I burst back up inside. That's the first tip, understanding range. All right, guys, so smaller receivers, especially if you're playing in the slot. The second tip we're gonna talk about is your hips, okay? We gotta be able to get in and out of a route as fast as possible, okay? Because especially you're gonna be facing a lot of maybe zone coverage. You're gonna be breaking routes off in front of a safety, okay? Maybe in front of a zone DB. He's off, right? 5 to 7 off, and we gotta break a route off and get in and out. Now, when DBs train, they train a lot of the times about getting out of this back pedal as fast as they can, cutting down steps, being able to explode and break on the ball, right? Here's the thing, though. They never train that movement. If you ever see a DB training this, he's doing the right thing, where he's 20 yards downfield and he's running with the receiver, and then he's forced to come out of a break, right? So that's why we have to do our job of selling vertical and then dropping our hips explosively and stopping on a dime, right? So that's what this is working. When we have explosive hips and we drop and we get my weight low and I sink my hips, that's what gets my pad level close to the ground. That's what gets me in an explosive pad level position so I could change directions. It's like a 40-yard dash. I don't want to be here and then pop straight up and try to run. Same thing with the route. I don't want to get up into a route, slow down, and try to be nice and tall when I come out of a route. So you're gonna have this drill with 2 cones. All we're gonna do is you're gonna start here. This is gonna be nice and slow. It's gonna be almost like a high knee. You're gonna be staying on your toes. You're just gonna be here. Now, when you get up to this cone, we're gonna drop my hips violently about 2 to 3 steps. So I just want it to be drop, drop. And violent hips, explosive hips. And then we're gonna come around the cone. So I'm gonna drop here. And I'm gonna come back on the other side. Now I'm gonna go right leg first. Drop, drop. Then I'm gonna come back around, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing, drop, drop, and then I'm just gonna keep repeating the process. Now, what this is working is you being able to go full speed, good pad level, selling vertical, right? We gotta snap this route off 12, 15 yards downfield. We gotta be confident in my hips to be able to drop, try to bring my chin to my knee, be very explosive with my hips, and just drop my weight, because that's how I'm gonna change direction fast. That's the second tip smaller wide receivers need to do. All right, guys, this third drill / tip we're gonna talk about is how to be able to go full speed and then stop right on a dime, okay? That's a big part about being a receiver, especially a small receiver. Like I said, we're gonna be facing a lot of zone coverage. We're gonna be breaking a lot of routes off in front of safeties, right? Man coverage should be the easy part for us, right? We're short, we're quick. All we gotta do is really get off the line, and then we can make something happen. But stopping on a dime is so beneficial for man coverage, zone coverage, but it's all about being able to sell vertical, okay? What a lot of people do, and it's easier for smaller receivers to do this, but it's harder for taller guys to do this, because they come out of this break, or they come out into this route, and they start to pick their pad level up before they make a break. They start to gear up, and then they come in and out of this thing. And you see it all the time. Guys lean back, nice and slow. The break's lazy. They're not in and out of the break as fast as possible, so that's what this is going to be working. For the sake of the video right now, it's a little closer than what I would like it to be. I'd like these cones to be spaced out about 20 yards, and I'm going to show you on the demonstration how it should look. But what we're going to do is all we're going to be doing is bursting up full speed, and we're gonna stop right on a dime when I get to this cone. It's gonna be working our hips like we talked about. We're gonna burst up and we're just gonna drop. And I don't care if we go a little bit past the cone, okay? I just want us to work on being able to drop my hips at the drop of a hat, okay? We don't wanna be telegraphing what we're gonna do. We don't wanna give the DB any tells of what we're gonna do, okay? So we're gonna be here. You could do this with maybe 3 cones spaced out 20 yards apart, and you could work 4 sets of it, or if you just wanna isolate it right now and try to be as explosive as possible, we could just work 1 cone, and that's what we're gonna do right now. So, we'll be here. All we're gonna do is we're gonna burst up full speed, and right when you see this cone, we're gonna drop down. I'm gonna drop my hips because that's what it takes inside a route to get some separation, okay? We gotta be able to go full speed. I gotta be able to drop my hips on a dime, then I gotta be able to get in, get out of this break, and accelerate out of the break. We're gonna talk about that later. I'm gonna show you how this thing will look full speed with the right distance with the cones. All right, guys, so what this drill is going to be working, the 4th tip for smaller receivers is going to be working your acceleration out of the break. So these 2 cones, as you can see over here, I want you to think of that as like a finish line. That's where the quarterback is going to be throwing the ball, and we got to beat the DB to that spot, okay? Because this is where we're making our break. We're going to be working this 90-degree break like a dig, okay? And we're going to try to get in and out of it in about 2 steps, okay? Or how you would actually like to run a route in a game time scenario. And none of these drills are going to be something that you shouldn't do in a game. This is everything that's going to help your game, help you in a game time scenario, okay? It's none of that bullshit footwork drills, okay? This is all about helping you in a game time scenario, okay? So now, when we get to that spot, we got to make sure we run out of this break. It's about generating force at the top of the route here on this dig and being able to run, pump my arms, and stride out and get to that spot before the DB can get out of his back pedal and work, right? This is how we tie everything together, right? 3 parts of the route. You got the acceleration, what we just talked about, right? We got the stem, being able to go full speed. Then we got our violent hips at the top, right? We got explosive hips at the top of the route, which is the drill we worked before that. And now we got the acceleration out of the route to make sure we get separation, okay? So we're going to be working this here. We got this first cone. What we're going to be working is our right leg's going to be up, and we're going to go 1, 2, drop, and my first inside step is my snap down where I drop my hips. My second step comes after that. I'm going 1, 2, and my second step is shooting me out, generating force at the top of the route so I can pump my arms and finish through this finish line, have my quarterback stand back there, give me a ball. We don't have a quarterback out here right now, but if we did, he'd give me a ball at the end of those cones, okay? I want to work about 4 sets each side. I'm going to show you how this thing will look full speed. So it's going to be off your second outside. So you're going to, or first inside, excuse me. So it's going to be here, 1, explosive. Now bringing my pad level up. 2, drop, 2, 3. So drop, 1, explode. 2 steps in and out of the break, drive off this leg, pump those arms, finish through that finish line, and then we get separation from the DB, 4 sets each side. All right, guys, so the last tip we're going to talk about for smaller receivers is being able to have sudden feet, okay? So off the line of scrimmage, right, we talked about this before. When we're facing man coverage, it's very important for smaller guys to have quick feet, right, and to be violent with my head and shoulders, okay? That's how we're going to get separation, right? And understanding range like we talked about in the very beginning of this clip, right? So here's the thing about sudden feet. I don't want to be, what a lot of people do is they telegraph their release. They'll be here and you want to cut grass with your feet, okay? And when you're running a route too, like we're making a post break, we're making an out break, a speed cut. I don't want to give this big telegraph, open up my hips when I don't need to. I want to keep my hips closed off. So I'm explosive. I want to move my head and my body. That's what's going to get me separation, because the DB ain't looking at your feet. That's just the reality of it. So if I open up everything right here, I'm going to be slow, right? Oh yeah, your hips turn, but how do you expect to come out of this thing when my hips are wide open? I got this long path with my hips, right? I want to keep my feet underneath me, and I want to be here. You see how my toes are straight forward. I'm very explosive with my feet. I'm giving a turn with my head and my shoulders a little bit of violent head and shoulder movement. That's what's going to get the DB to turn. It's not going to be your feet. It's not reaching with your feet, okay? I want to work on keeping my toes straight forward, and that's what this drill is working. So we're going to be here. We're just going to isolate one leg. I want to try to keep this back leg as steady as I can. Fast hands, fast feet, and we're just going to jab, okay? So we're going to be here, jab, here, jab. Now, these cones are important because you can't cheat the cones. You got to get all the way across with your toes straight forward. I want the weight to stay on the inside portion of your leg, because if I'm like this, my shin is straight up and down, I'm going to push out, right? I want to keep the weight on the inside of my leg so I can shoot out and explode up into this route if it's a release, or explode up into the top of the route if we're running like an out or a post, okay? I want to work about 4 sets each leg of that. Last tip for small receivers is to have sudden feet. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. If you have any questions, please leave in the comments below. I will make sure to get back to you. And please leave any suggestions about the next video you guys would like to see, guys. If you're a receiver and you want to improve your football IQ, check out that link in the description. I'll see you guys next time.